Hello and welcome to. Hello and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. Are we good? We're live. We're live now. Hello to those watching live on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to join us live on this show every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the live show. Today we're playing episode 3 of Unrestful Hearts in the Garden of Glory. Let's go around to the cast and crew and figure out who we are and who we're playing. We'll start with the Game Master, myself. I am Little Cup of Joe, Jessica Osborne. You can find me on Twitter at Little Cup of Joe and also on Twitch as Little Cup of Joe. I'm not Jessica. I'm Grant. But and I was going to go all in and introduce this as O'Murray High School Ghost Club and everything. But yeah, I ran out of gas. So I'm Grant, and that's enough out of me and my shenanigans. We'll go around clockwise. How you doing, Burst of Hope? How you doing, Jess?
Hello! Yes, I'm good. Good to be here. Oh, yay, bits, thank you. Tonight, I play Ser Catalin de Wolf, a wonderful knight of warrior grace and brooding beauty.
Brooding beauty. And our good friend playing Chev Antimony. How you doing tonight, Poisel?
I am doing really well. A busy day, and I'm excited to be here. I'm playing Chev Antimony, the dragon, the disciplined and educated, thoughtful knight of the group. And rather sneaky. But that's just my brand.
Also joining us tonight is M.E. Truffery playing Chev Orphelia DeLion. How are you?
Hi, I am doing all right, aside from it being super, super cold outside. Yeah, and I'll be playing Chev Orphelia DeLion, who is our the youngest one of our knights, our knight of love and justice and doing her best, and totally not a murder pants, regardless of what Pro says.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of Pro, how you doing tonight, Pro Mister?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I'm looking forward to getting back into my character's shoes. I am playing Sir Daniel the Eagle, formerly known as the Rose Knight, but now known as the Knight of Thorns.
Ooh. Before we begin today's show, I'll remind you guys that we are sponsored by Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer, and 40k minis for 20% off. Finally, Tabletop Loot provides fantastic dice, which we give away when we hit stream goals. Go to tabletoploot.com to see the kinds of sets you could win each session. When we hit 20 retweets, we'll give away a set of Tabletop Loot dice. When we hit 20 retweets on this tweet, and then we will bring up the tweet. Sorry, I'm improvising. Oh, it helps if I actually do it right. Oh no, sorry. I am, see, I got hobbit hands. They're hard to type with. Yeah, there we go. Like a pro streamer, Grant Ellis. We'll give away our first set when we hit 20 retweets. And finally, you can interact with today's game by giving donations. Donations impact this show a little differently than some of the others. Particularly, $3 gives you a positive or negative effect to the challenges during our adventure mode. $5 allows our players to roll 2 dice instead of 1. That's similar to a critical hit, etc. $10 forces a tarot reading. And $20 will give a player a new legendary quality or tag that impacts the game. Now, for those of you that are watching the show for the first time or are unfamiliar with the game, this is a homebrewed game that was built from the ground up, borrowing from many different game systems that I liked. Most inspired by The King is Dead and Cypher system. And each game begins with the reading of a tarot card. And I'm going to pull up my tarot deck, which you won't be able to see on your side. I'm going to play a card over here, so I've got to check what it's going to be. So tonight's first card is an inverted flipped 2 of Pentacles. Doom, doom, doom. So let's go into this. Disorganization and financial chaos. Wow. So
It has been 3 years.
it's been 3 years, and so the house. So you notice each of our knights have these different last names: dragon, wolf, eagle, lion, etc. Well, the suit of pentacles impacts House Dragon, which Chev Antimony is a part of. And several years ago, they began a tax scheme that may or may not have worked out. In fact, this card is going to impact them. So House Dragon is falling into disorganization and financial chaos. Interesting. So here's what we're going to say. They began borrowing intensely from foreign powers. They've been borrowing not from the Solar Empire, but from the Lunar Republic, far to the north, which is very easy to do. The Lunar Republic are thought to be uneducated. They're thought to be barbaric. They are thought to be quaint in their ways. Apparently, they have some of the most sophisticated advocates and lawyers known to all kingdoms. And they, in fact, played House Dragon something fierce. So this we know. House Dragon is almost crumbling from the inside. And there are a lot of what we'll call... I'm actually going to say Chev Antimony would have known some of the whiz kids who were involved in those schemes. And they went into some deep financial theory that blew out of proportion. So currently, we find that the Crown, as well as members of the Lunar Republic, are seizing some of House Dragon's holdings and lands. This is almost like a sale and leaseback, where these people of the North have put claim over the lands. It's like, well, no, you can still live there, you can still work it, but you don't own it, and you certainly won't be renting it out. So it's going to cause some financial hardships. And with that, I was like,
this is fine.
So
it wasn't me, but
no, it wasn't you. In fact, I believe Chev Antimony would have warned them, and would have warned them rather politely, and just sort of like, hey, these things. If you know your history, this happened once before. Oh, easy there, Chev. You may be a knight, but you ain't an accountant. We got this. We good. All right. So with that, tonight's narrative game is going to be chosen by Sir Cataline de Wolf. So our game has 2 modes, a narrative mode and an adventure mode. The first half of the game, we play these more or less GM-less narrative-based scenes to build relationships and create tension, sort of based on the dramatic event of the year. And then our knights play through those scenes, and then they go on quests, and that's their big quest for the year. So, Sir Cataline, the time is now yours to choose a narrative game and invite other knights to participate.
Indeed. Okay, well, with that reading, I am certainly intrigued, as House Wolf has been responsible for all of the collections of these taxations over the past years, and a lot of my people have noticed that as much as they collect, it seems to be going nowhere. And now that this unrest is here, I would say we're gonna pick Whispers in the Dark?
Ooh!
What? Yeah, I feel like that can be interpreted as a game in many different ways.
Yeah, so Whispers in the Dark, that's one of my originals. So each player chooses a house randomly, and I will quickly give you each a house. All right, so Sir Cataline, you get House Wolf. Chev Antimony, you also get House Wolf. Or if, you know what? This is Chef Orphelia, House Wolf, and then House Dragon goes to Thrower Starter. So 3 wolves and 1 dragon. So 3 tarot cards are going to impact House Wolf. And then 1 tarot card will be played for House Dragon. Then anyone can pay 1 narrative point from their pools. They all have these narrative pools that reflect, their political power, the passion for which they live their best life, as well as the glory that they seek and make them the subjects of songs and legends. Anyone can pay a narrative point to make the divination true. So we play a card, it's like, yes, that is true. And then anyone can also pay a point to make it false. You can override each other. If you want, you can pay 2 narrative points to shift it to a different house. It'll be random, but it'll just go to another house. And we can continue to do this for indefinitely. And then if no one, yes, and if no one decides, whether it's true or false or not, it's undetermined, and the game master myself decides. So we're gonna play some cards, and then we're gonna decide whether or not it's true. The Knight of Cups. So this is going to impact House Wolf, and it may be a relation. So let's see. The Knight of Cups. Romanticism, imagination, a knight in shining armor. So I have to divine this now. A hero to rival even the fame and legend of Sarah Cataline has emerged in House Wolf. And this leader is attracting many followers and admirers. And this knight is known as Helena. Helena was one of the squires, who is now known as Sarah Helena. And they have reached knighthood. Anyone can decide whether to make this true, false, or in between. Sarah Helena the Gallant.
Ooh. I am totally okay with that being true. I can spend, you said, I guess, I spend glory
1 point from any pool.
Any? Okay.
Any point from any pool.
Ooh, I'll spend 1 crown.
All right. So you spend a point of the crown. And going once, going twice. That is now true. And Sarah Helena, the Gallant, is in fact this romantic knight who is the subject of song. They were once one of your squires. Now they have collected many followers and many to rival your fame. So the Knight of Cups has been played. Another card that's going to impact House Wolf is the flipped Ace of Swords. So let's see. The flipped Ace of Swords. Chaos, confusion, lack of clarity. So after the Zealots were expelled from the Marmors, House Wolf fell into a lot of confusion. Many of the collections of sacred literature, relics, the stained glass that was imported, these holy things that were brought in by the Zealots, a lot of them were confiscated by the people. And their own sort of smaller religions began springing up. And so there is now, let's see, Sir Cataline, why don't you roll a d10 for me?
Yes, absolutely. D10 away. A 2.
So there are now 2, a schism. So there were these old faiths in the wolf tribe, House Wolf, kind of claimed to, but now there are 2 large churches. One is known as the Gray, and one is known as the Black. And they are churches proper, monotheistic, one God, all that. And they both claim to worship the same God. They're essentially apostates from the Church of the Sun. But essentially there's now a Church of the Gray Sun and a Church of the Black Sun. And you can tell them because they wear these tabards with black suns and gray suns. Is this true? Maybe this impacts another house? Or is this false? Points can be played.
I'm going to spend a point of glory to make it true.
Yes! Oh.
Yeah.
I was staring right at Pro. I'm like, it's you. Tell us.
It's you. Yep.
It goes down to 4.
All right, let's... So, the house, or the 2 churches of the Sun Wolves, or the Sun Wolves, as I hit a button and ended up making it say, Wolves! Yes. The perfect night. Yeah, and then I need to mark that Sarah Helena is known as the perfect night.
What? Blasphemy!
There are none who rival
accept
her
it.
beauty and perfection. And that's,
Oh.
I know.
Excuse me? Beauty perfection.
This session quickly goes into pro, seducing the perfect night.
I will
Oh my gosh.
you.
All of my time has been wasted!
another card on House Wolf. Oh, this joy of joys. The Hierophant. So... spiritual guidance, compassion, tradition, conformity. Despite the appearance of 2 powerful churches, there is a leader who has risen. This individual was a parent to Suzerain Josa, who was slain last episode. In fact, this individual is known as Grand Josiah. So they have been unifying the people, the old ways, the customs in the Marbors. However, this does create some tension, as it is very much the old ways. There are many gods, there are many faiths, there are many paths to perfection. Some paths do not involve religion at all. Some involve education, some involve training, some involve war. And we should not surrender ourselves to blind doctrines. So the Grand Josiah has appeared amongst House Wolf and is viewed as a great spiritual leader as well. Sort of a counterweight and a counterbalance to the new ways. Not popular with the children, but popular with the grandchildren. What do you think? True, false? Not sure. Or maybe we shift this to a different house.
And Josiah. I don't know how I feel about the old ways. Not sure. Anyone else have feelings?
I think this is interesting.
Mm.
It may just be one that we sort of leave in the mist. It may come back to...
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of want to come back to that. I'll let it hang.
Let that one cook a bit.
Yeah.
Marcy
Marinate
starts
and roast.
shift it to house. whatever house Jess ends up, little cup of Joe has when Joe shows up, just shift it over there. Make her deal with the grand. She's the grand Josiah when she's up. Josiah, yeah, when she shows up next week. So, yeah,
It is
not what you were expecting. And then the final card's going to impact House Dragon. The nine of, it's going to be the 9 of Wands, right side up. So as we look at,
I'm sorry. Every time you say it, I keep hearing Juan, like Juan.
9 of Wands. You, Juan. Persistence, resilience, defense. So House Dragon, despite drowning in debt, has begun. They've been operating essentially what's been known as to common folk known as the black market. They are strong and they are going to pull every trick in the book to overcome the Lunar Republic, who is essentially strong-arming them. They view the Lunar Republic as robber barons. They have released an enormous amount of propaganda, and they have rallied to get everyone in the land royal to see their side and view them as the victims, to the point where people are donating to House Dragon, not investing, they're donating, they're taking their hard-earned coin and just, there you go. And they've been able to build up a pretty powerful private army adjacent to the Knights of the Crown. These are the Knights of the Dragon. And not only that, despite their financial ruin, they don't give off that appearance at all. It almost appears as if they are thriving.
Take my glory and leave this true.
I'm going to give a passion point to make it false.
Ooh.
Oh.
Somebody wants to see House Dragon crumble.
Can I double down on my glory? Yeah.
Yes, going once, going twice.
And M shifts it to House Lion. Oh, no.
Can I do that as well?
Yeah, anyone can.
Oh my
How
gosh.
is this bidding reward?
You just keep paying points until people don't feel like paying points anymore.
Can you
Okay.
spend a point of glory and a point of crown?
Yep.
Oh dear, This
Absolutely.
is gonna get messy.
I spent 2 passion points. I'm passionate
To make
about
it
this.
false or to
Make it
shift
Yeah,
it?
make it fall.
Okay.
Or do you want to shift it to a different house? Yeah. You can also spend 2 points to shift it.
No, that's what make it false.
All right.
No, I'm gonna. I'll spend a point of passion as well to make it true. Then.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oof, 3 against 2.
I'll spend a point of glory to make it
No!
free glory.
Well, okay, so if they're both waging 3 points, like who outbids?
Whoever went last, that's what's true. So you follow each
Okay,
other.
I see. Gotcha.
Someone help me! Someone help me with this.
Oh man.
Someone help me.
I'm so conflicted.
I don't know what I want out of
I know.
House Dragon.
Like both
Yeah.
both scenarios are good.
Sir Catherine, I am a dear and honest wolf friend. You must.
So, here's what I recommend. Play this out as your characters in a scene where you're petitioning Captain Cataline de Wolf, Captain of Knights.
Yeah, I've been eyeballing both of you in one way or
It gives,
another.
it, gives
so.
you, it gives you more knights to be captain of.
Danielle just says, like we spoke 2 years ago, you should not have to work below those who are also below your station. You should be at a station that befits you and yours.
How is that? How does that make her below their station? It gives her more to rule over.
Here's my question for you, Sir Cataline.
Mhm.
Has
I think Sir
Dragon
Daniel
paid
sees you as.
The way I interpreted the collections, the people in House Wolf who have been doing said job, they can't justify how much they've collected versus how much we've been paid out. So we're not too partial to the tax collection.
I feel like House Dragon makes sure that those that collect the taxes get paid well, because that's how we ensure that the taxes get collected honestly.
How do you pay them when you're in financial ruin, though? It's hard. I think back to my old filmmaking days. I had to like pull producers to alleys and be like,
it's like donations. And there's also deferments on their own taxes. Like, deferments on your taxes.
Huh. Interesting.
I see it as when this discussion was had initially, there was already doubt that Dragon was doing more than what they should be doing in terms of managing these taxes, dealing with them, and they've shown their incompetence by allowing things to
taxes. There have been no problems with the taxes. The initial tarot card was not about the taxes at all. The initial tarot cards was about the mismanagement of internal House Dragon funds, and not about anything of the crown at large of the Land Royale.
Well, I feel like it all connects, though, right? Because this is still like you mismanaging the one thing your house is supposed to be.
It's not Shiv antimony. It's
not
their house.
That's true.
As I'm saying,
only some of House Dragon. Only some of House Dragon.
We're very passionate about our houses. It's like, yeah.
So the thing about the taxation situation for House Wolf, I'm pretty sure it was House Lion that had employed us.
Okay.
So it was kind of a twofer in that situation. Because Lion and Dragon had kind of teamed up.
And it wasn't that we imposed the taxes, House Lion imposed the taxes. We had simply argued for better tax incentives for the investments in House Dragon.
This is all Mercy's fault. Where is she? No. Starting the crown.
And so this story just seems like House Dragon has made the Lunar Republic look worse because of the way the Lunar Republic has screwed House Dragon so gravely. They lied to us about what they were doing with our funds, and they're attempting to cause ruin upon us. One of the great pillar houses of the Land Royal is all the Lunar Republic's fault, and this is why we need the aid of the other great houses and these other knights, so that we might stand strong as dragons should against the lies and blasphemy that comes from the Lunar Republic. And I will put another point of passion towards this. This is my house.
And with that, we want to let it go.
I'll let it go. It seems to be very passionate about it. But this is noted.
Let me write it down in my notebook.
My diary. Dear diary.
House Dragon bullied me. I wanted them gone.
Interesting. So, I'm curious if anyone. There's still plenty of time. Do we want to segue this and move it into another narrative game? What would be a good segue? So we know all these things have happened. We know that the Lunar Republic has been introducing. They've been introducing their influences into the Kingdom of the Crown. Likewise, the Grand Josiah may or may not be a prophetic figure who has risen up in the land. There are 2 churches of wolves that are growing in influence and causing disputations amongst the people. And so there were some shenanigans there. How many points total got played?
7. 4 from me and 3 from Pro.
Mhm.
All right.
I already marked them all off on the on our sheet.
Yeah, I should be at
Wait, so-
7 passion,
okay.
3 glory.
After all that, you still have 7 passion? Clearly, I'm not playing this right.
Add 9 passion. Yeah.
Oh,
I am now at 4 across the board.
the clocks have advanced. The war, the nations, the foreign powers, neighboring nations are setting their eyes on the land royal while there's all this inner strife and turmoil, and the economy is weak. Likewise, there were rumors that the prior year there was a holy war. Not to mention, the queen is nowhere to be seen.
Vacation.
The people are in a great period of unrest now. There seems to be a lot of tension in the Marmors between members of these new churches. The old church, the original church, because House Eagle and the Church of the Sun are like, look, we'd really like to get our stuff back, because we know what that stuff actually means. And House Wolf's like, we'll come and get it. We'll kick your butts again. And the church itself, they're just trying to decide whether or not they should solicit the crown to go and essentially hang all of those apostates. So these are some of the issues that we know. The Lunar Republic is going to... They've sent an ambassador. They've sent an ambassador to Capital, which is where the crown resides. And they are demanding that a large section of the Golden Wood be sliced off and given to them as sort of a final payment. In fact, they want to slice off about the upper half of the Golden Wood and annex the upper half of Norfell as well. And they want to create that as an independent state that belongs to them. And they have reason for that. They want the lumber from the Golden Wood, and there are certain ancestral stories and legends that tie Norfell back to their people, although much of that is in dispute. In fact, most of that is lies. Norfell has nothing to do with any of their legends. It seems to be a pure power play.
Is that something that's common knowledge?
Here in Land Royal, absolutely. You don't even need to do anywhere near as much schooling as Shev and Timony. But there are ambassadors being sent from the Lunar Republic to Capital. So that's going on. That's one thing that's going on. So there's sort of these political negotiations going on. And from what you gather, especially with the absence of the Queen, who is currently traveling abroad, she's essentially trying to help establish a free state for the Lost Ones, the people you rescued back in episode 1. There enough time has passed that the language gap has been closed, and you have uncovered where those people come from, and you have sent a small army to essentially liberate their homelands. So some of the army's traveling abroad, and that's where the Antillier, her Star of the Skies, is. Likewise, you have there is some fighting between on the border of the Middle Country and Marmor between the Gray Sun and the Black Sun, the two churches. To the point where you heard that 2 knights who went to solve this problem were killed. The 2 knights were slain. Yes. Ilona and Alexandros.
Of what house?
One is House Dragon, one I believe is House Wolf. But that's okay, you'll get more squires. It's just those 2 happen to have died.
As long as Donald is safe, we're all good.
He's eating.
No, he's not. Or if he is, it's under heavy supervision.
Solar Empire. It's quite a delight. Yes. So that's going on. Likewise, there is rumblings that the church is planning on. You've heard rumors that they're going to plan an assassination attempt on. They want to abduct the leaders of the Church of the Grey Sun and the Church of the Black Sun, as well as the Grand Josiah, and execute all of them publicly for heathen ways and apostasy. They're going to take them up to Norfell. This is what you know. You've heard rumors that they've captured all 3, but they're just rumors. So, which of these quests would you like to tackle headway?
Are we moving right into the story of the year, or I thought we were doing another narrative story or narrative?
Oh, we absolutely can. But those are some things that have already happened as a result of the first game. So take that for what you want, and you can use that to frame the next narrative game, and also understand when we do our quest for the year. We pick the one we want to focus on, and we can decide what happens with the others. So let's do another narrative game.
I have an important question. I don't know, important to me. Who is rumored to have abducted the leaders of the Grey and the Black Sun and Grand Josiah?
Yeah.
Oh. Members of the actual Church of the Sun.
Oh. So House Eagle.
Again?
House Eagle is...
Keep a better eye on your people!
Because I don't know about
just a little different in the house. So there are knights that are, essentially they are the knights of the church, etc. However, they're more, they're soldiers, not clergy, right? So they didn't send members of House Eagle. They sent assassins, not members of the honorable House Eagle, unless it is uncovered that they in fact were. You essentially have leaders of the church.
Okay.
In fact, I can give you the name of the leader that ordered this. It'll be Etienne. Here. You've ordered assassinations of religious factions.
Okay.
Oh me, oh my. What do we choose, guys?
For narrative game or for story of the year?
Choose a narrative game first, because it might frame which one you go on. And these are all things that you've heard. And right now we'll say this. They may or may not be true, and your narrative game will reveal whether or not they are.
They are just rumors, indeed.
But also understand at any point during the narrative game, you have authority to make them true by simply saying so. Unless you're playing Whispers of the Dark, then you play cards and you can, play points and make things false. But you can determine that they are in fact true or false. So, do we have a volunteer to pick the next narrative game?
Oh,
Sort of a segue.
Sure.
I kind of like the idea of actually you go Poser, because I haven't done one yet.
Okay. I had I had an idea. Well, the narrative game, a scene I wanted to do anyway, so this works for that. I want to have a reunion with Chef Ophelia.
Oh boy, do I remember the tech stuff well enough? Okay.
Oh, this is not well. The tech stuff may come up, but it's I don't know if it's going to be about that.
Okay.
So, when did you see each other last, and where are you meeting?
I think we saw each other last in the parting days of the assault on the in the Marmors.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it would be appropriate for Ophelia and Antimony to have kept up some sort of correspondence since then?
Sure.
At all?
Maybe we've written a bit. Antimony,
yeah, like I
right?
think. Yeah. And they seem to get along relatively well, at least comparatively. Okay, so we probably haven't seen each other since that incident, but it's not like it's been total silence since then.
Yeah.
So I think Ophelia is aware of the whole situation with House Dragon, and also, and more importantly, Chef Antimony's, like, their whole stance on all that.
All of it. I don't know. Antimony's stance may be slightly different than House Dragon's, but we'll see where that stands. Where do we want to meet?
I mean, I guess it depends. What is Antimony's goal in this scene?
Antimony would like to catch up with Chef Ophelia and perhaps talk a bit about the future.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that Chef Antimony would be necessarily, like, unwelcome in Capital, like, in, or at least in like the more crown-oriented spaces. Oh, better idea. What if they meet at that university we've established, the totally houseless one?
Intramuros.
Oh, yeah.
Intramuros, thank you.
Intramuros.
Yeah. Like, I could see that becoming, like, maybe not the actual, like, university section of it, but they probably, it counts as, like, a solidly, like, totally neutral meeting space that people use.
Okay, yeah.
Guest lecturer or Chef Ophelia.
Oh no. Oh, no. An academic she is not.
We'll say it's been a year, so Chef Antimony's recent publication has one of their pieces has been published recently, and so there is a maybe Chef Ophelia has reason to visit them at within the Intramuros for the celebration afterwards.
Okay. Basically like the publication party, like the book release party.
Yeah, book release party.
That's cute. I like that.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, excellent. All right, so Chef Ophelia shows up to this with just like she's the sort of person who shows up to a party with like way like overly expensive wine and food and stuff. Regardless of whether or not it's like bring your own beer kind of situation, she just shows up like, oh, we're here for a party.
Awesome. These are all kind of educated like people of the capital who are a little bit more laid back in their presentation. There is a kind of a aloofness and like standoffishness that comes with the academy that that you can see some of where Antimony got it in their own like stance. Although Antimony, in the intervening years since you met them, their hair is longer. They seem to have relaxed more into a more like some of the people here look to them as more of a mentor or a scholar in some rights. So,
is there some way that they particularly stand out from the rest of these academics here? Or do they look like they truly fit in here? Like this is where they're supposed to be?
Where the academics are almost taking air to look like they want to distance themselves from whatever aristocracy they came from. Antimony, a lot of people feel false here, Antimony does not. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. So did Chef Antimony invite Orphelia to this and let her know what this whole situation was?
In my last letter, I would have said something to the effects of, well, my publication is coming to a head, and we will be releasing the manuscript soon. There will be a small get-together, me and some of my fellows. It would be a delight to see you there. With my great wishes, Antimony.
He receives a very short letter in response. That sounds fantastic. I'll see you there. And I think that's the entire letter, honestly. And so now here we are, however much later. And I think Chef Orphelia shows up. She has in one hand this very, very fancy bottle of wine, and in the other hand, like, I think just a full-on like bakery tray of whatever like super fancy, the equivalent of a fancy French bakery we have in Capital.
Okay.
And walks into this room, takes one look at all the academics in here and this whole situation, which is not somber exactly, but it's not what one would call a party.
Give it a minute. Academics can enjoy their drink.
That's a good point. This is the early stages.
Yes.
So
Antimony will their face lights up when they see you walk in, and they quickly like dismiss themselves from a small conversation that was happening, like a little circle that was around them, to come over and greet you. And they would take your hands if you would allow, and like hold them close. Be like, my dear Chef Ophelia, I'm so happy that you made it.
But of course, there's no way I would miss such an important occasion to you. Is there somewhere I can put these?
Oh yes, anywhere. Any flat space should do.
Fantastic. She bustles over and, taking that remark as literally as it is, just plops things on a table. Which is totally not the table that was supposed to be used for actually like displaying all this academic literature. So it has been a good while. I'm glad to see you're doing so well. It seems like you've made something of a name for yourself, really.
Oh well, You say some words, you think some thoughts, you put them down. Sometimes people agree with them, and sometimes they argue with you. I do enjoy when they argue with me. It's always fun. But it's a life, you know. I enjoy it. And how are you? Since our last duties.
Yes, well, it's been all right. We move on as best we can.
We do. I'm.
Where are you guys having this conversation?
We're just in the main room of this like essentially tavern in the Intramuros.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir Kathleen is a friend of Antoni's. You may have gotten a invitation as well.
We also have the NPCs. I
do.
got dibs on the bartender.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yes. Sometimes our duties push us to places we did not see ourselves before.
Yes.
It's I'm only glad that I was able to minimize the bloodshed that I could.
It's a powerful thing, that. But while we're here, this is to celebrate you, so. And she walks over and pours Chef Antimony a probably significantly more than you're probably supposed to. Like definitely like a full on like fills the entire like wine goblet with champagne kind of situation.
Yes.
So to celebrate your success. Yeah.
Yes. To good friends and a prosperous future.
Quite so. Clink.
So that they'll drink a bit, I think, and talk, and they'll move the conversation to. Have you heard these rumors of the disturbance in the Marmors again?
To clarify above table, this is the Gray Sun, Black Sun business?
Yeah.
Or is this... Okay. I have, in all honesty, I've been hoping that those are just rumors.
Well,
do you think they're true?
It sounds like some of the factions, those that we missed in the last time we were there, decided that they want to keep some of the tenants. I don't yet know how Eagle and the church will respond, but
not kindly, I'd expect.
Yeah. It just saddens me that some can't seem to right themselves from certain paths.
Yes. It's such a strange thing to live so strongly for and die for. Over and over.
And to kill for.
Yes.
You know, I still think about that day. If I were a religious person, I would be thankful that my skills were so sharp that, and Chev and Timony reaches into their shirt, and the broken off bit of a crossbow bolt is on a chain. That this did not pierce so fair a heart.
Ophelia, at that, she kind of looks as if she's about to make some sort of sassy comeback and just play it off, and then I think she just turns away and takes a long drink. You know, well, actually, I are you still holding out this crossbow bolt?
It's kind of like resting in their hand, like holding it like here. Kind of looking at it. They're when you turn your back to them to have the drink, they kind of like bow their head in thought.
Ophelia turns back to Chev and Timony and smiles, and then extends her hand. May I?
Yes.
If you don't mind, I should like to hold on to this for a while. It's given me a good deal to think about.
Of course.
Right.
I hope I did not overstep. Ophelia.
She tilts her head back and laughs a bit. Not in the slightest. No, come on, let's get you another drink. And at this point, I think she drags them over to the actual bar, and gets
this little
this party
lightweight
started.
Drink. Oh damn!
Tobias Hogthorn sits at the counter.
Yeah.
Strong drink for the Jewel of House Lion, I presume. You're here the Intramuros, so we know how to make a fine beverage.
Oh, Hogsworth, you're the greatest purveyor of drink that I have met in these great lands.
I'm sorry, try me a challenge.
Huh?
It comes out.
I was complimenting the dear man here. He has a great collection and great hand of mixing things just so.
Well,
but if you want to have a challenge,
well, you have a challenge. He says, claps his hands, and invites in a couple of onlookers. So here's
what do
here's
I roll for bartending skills in this game?
Oh, you're in narrative mode. You're not going to roll anything. So here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like both Pro Restarter to issue Chev Orphelia a challenge, a drinking challenge, and then I'd like Burst of Hope Jess to issue Chev and Timony a drinking challenge, and we'll sort of play this out.
This is what we're doing. Okay, this is actually better.
We'll play this out as a narrative game. So here's an example of the type of question that you might ask. So I think we'll give them a leading question, such as, you drink so much that, and then fill in the blank with what you want, and then ask them if they keep drinking or if they stop. And remember, boundaries, limits, etc. So an example might be, you drink so much that you bust into the songs that the great, the great opas and omas of House Dragon. Only they sing, but I know the tunes. So it's silly and make it fun, but ask them. So these questions can sort of come from Pro and Jess. So I'll actually lead with an example. So Chev Orphelia, you drink so much that you tell Donald to go fetch a bag of fresh baguettes. Do you continue drinking?
Oh, I guess I absolutely do. I'm sure
Donald's
the baguettes are fine.
Yeah, he toddles off to go get some baguettes. And then, Pro, you can ask Chev and Timony a question, and you can just improvise it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Chev and Timony. You see, in this competition, others have come in. You see someone who is a friend and a scholarly ally wavering in their drinks. Do you allow them to continue and possibly embarrass themselves, or stop them knowing that it might come off harshly?
Oh no! This is my night, and embarrassment is part and parcel for being an academic, and so everyone has their own responsibility to themselves. So I totally allow them to keep drinking.
I love it.
And then, Jess, you can throw a question Chev Orphelia's way.
Okay, Chev Orphelia, I think you drink so much that your hair is coming undone. You have such a royal braid. It's starting to fall apart, and someone invites you to the dance floor, and it's not your typical ballroom dance. Do you take another drink? Do you accept the dance?
Oh no!
Do you do a little twerk?
Whoa!
High fantasy twerking, is that what we're doing here?
I'm a twerk.
That would be so much clanking, oh my god. At this point, I think the answer is still yes. As long as this is a solidly PG-rated high fantasy twerk kind of situation.
Yeah, it's more like a mosh pit than anything. Someone is one-on-one dancing.
Yeah, I mean, if this is everyone is having fun at a party and dancing in a manner that is perhaps more like folk dancey than ballroom dancey, then absolutely.
Okay.
Describe your dance partner to us. You're loud.
Can it be Donald?
Yes. He's back with the baguette. Ooh, this is fun.
Can I just say, I'm just imagining scholars twerking.
Hey,
well, what happens in the intramural stays in the intramural. So it's
exactly this is their one thing.
And they're like, we must do this.
So Chev and Timony, you drink so much that you let an unkind word slip regarding Chev Beatriz. Do you continue drinking? Oh, I'm a party pooper.
Oh my!
Does it slip?
Timony didn't mean.
It's not, and you can determine the type of what it said. It was just perceived as unkind. Now remember, everyone's been drinking a lot. You may not have actually said anything unkind, but it was taken that way.
I
mean, who did you say it to? I think also.
It was just spoken. And you can decide what you said, and it was heard by people in the room, though. Someone.
Trying to think of what I would have said. I think Chev and Timmy would say something about how unfortunate it is for one's family, to meet one's family once they've taken the black and become a raven. More in like a sympathetic way, but it doesn't come off completely that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because we met someone who looked very much like Beatrice's sister as a raven in the last campaign.
It's true.
And I think Chef Antimony would continue drinking. Yeah.
So, Pro, you can throw a question Chev Orphelia's way.
Nice. Let's see here.
As Trevor Ophelia is twirling in this fantasy mosh pit.
Donald's got your
Nice.
back.
Oh yeah, he does.
The dancing goes on, and I think as you're dancing and your hair is kind of flowing and it's out, and you're acting very unknightly as you're twirling around, you see in the hallway someone from your house, Ophelia, very proud, very noble, very old ways. Do you stop and act more knightly and more lion-like, or do you continue on?
I mean, honestly, I think this is kind of par for the course, so I don't think that would phase Ophelia that much, honestly.
This is what I'm known
They were
for.
expecting us.
you're like embracing that trash Carolina.
Yeah.
We knew we'd find her. Don't you judge me. Don't you judge me.
You're not my real dad. Oh god, yeah, what if it is an actual, like, there's like one designated person who's just like, Ophelia hasn't been back in 6 hours, clearly something's probably wrong. Although I guess she's like 22 by this point, so probably not so much. But anyway, the answer is, hell yeah, I keep drinking.
Okay.
All right, Sir Cataline, you can throw a question, or Jess, you can throw a question. Chev Antimony's way.
Excellent. Chev Antimony, you drink so much that you've now returned to the bartender, and you've made a grand gesture to slap your hand on their shoulder and start explaining the exact science behind brewing. And you're just giving them a lecture. I kind of want to see how the bartender reacts, and I want to see if you feel like you need another drink from said bartender.
Oh yes, I've been reading about it. The way that you add the hops and you fermentation, and it's like, I think they're little teeny things. You create alcohol with living creatures that are tiny. They're tiny.
The bartender's like, I need to go find him. And he's kind of spinning around. Bartender's had a few as well. Chev Orphelia. Chev Beatrice shows up and observes what's occurring. Are you keep drinking?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Mom's here. Yeah.
Bro,
Effectively.
you can. Yes. Yeah. So, Chev Orphelia, sort of plays this out with you. Chev Beatrice is like, Orphelia, this behavior is completely unbecoming a knight of your pedigree and upbringing and grace. What are you doing in the university? And what are you doing? Are you okay?
We are enjoying a great night. It is my night, and we are having the best time. Chev Orphelia is my dear friend, and I wanted them to be here because I want them here because they are.
Chev Antimony, you speak a great many syllables and you slur words that have no S's in them. This is in fact your night, and I think you should call it such. And then sort of looks at Ophelia and is like, she can't really interfere. She's been overruled. She's like, look, the two of them together, they're enabling each other. I'm put out. And she sort of she pours her soul out for a second, and she realizes she can't get you to stop. So she feels defeated. So she's run off to go get help. It'll either be Sir Cataline or Sir Danielle. I'll let them choose. But Pro, you can ask the next question to Chev and Timony.
After she leaves, Timony would put their hands on Ophelia's shoulder that she would allow, and lean in and be like, I think they're coming for us.
I think you're right.
You're gonna fight your way out like a duel. I'm like, great
with the baguettes.
With the baguettes, absolutely.
Chef and Timmy would get very sober up for a second, and reach up and try to brush a bit of your hair, the front of your eyes, and be like, I know the secret way out of here. If you
There's a secret way out of here?
Yeah, if you want to come away with me.
Yeah! And I think she actually just grabs their hand and points to the door. Okay, where do we go?
Yep. And so Timmy will leave it.
Yeah, I yank one of the baguettes from Donald as we go.
Oh yeah, and Donald watches. He's looking around. He's like, I don't know if I follow or I stay. And then my question is, you two can decide. Does Donald stay behind and maybe tell a tale to Sir Danielle and Sir Cataline, or does he come with?
Oh, I think. Okay, so what if there's an established lie that I've told Donald to tell when Ophelia runs off and to do things that she shouldn't?
Yes.
So I have an established background.
This is my.
She's praying.
So as we leave,
So 40-day fast.
Yeah.
All right, and that's how that goes down.
So as we run out into the evening.
Yeah, we're going to cut that scene there. So Sarah Danielle and Sarah Cataline both show up, two of the most respected knights in all of the Land Royal and surrounding countries. These figures of legend and story and song show up, and so Donald's there, and you can tell Donald's been drinking. And he stutters and he says something. Take it to her. She's cleaning the church.
Donald, they'll pat their cheek. I'm like, I'm gonna need you to enunciate a little bit more. Take it slow.
And
you can do it.
and you can't pat him. He takes your hand for a second. He's like, Sarah Cataline, I realize you are way out of my league. But I just want to let you know, I've always looked up to you. And he starts blubbering. He's like, to both of you. He sees Sarah Danielle. He's like, you guys, you've saved my life multiple times. And he's pouring his heart out to you. And he's just like, let me take your feelings. And just kind of stumbles out the front.
Okay. All right. Fat
Captain.
long use. Was. Okay, it'll be okay. Yes, we appreciate you, Donald. That's okay. Maybe Sir Daniel would like a baguette.
Who was it? So Daniel will look at it, go over, take a piece at the top, eat it. Thank you.
And then Donald gives you this sloppy Donald hug that only he's allowed to give. There's certain things Donald's allowed to do. It's just Donald.
So boundaries are different.
Now, do you want to move the scene to stealing time together? And we can do like say a 15-minute scene if you'd like. Since we are down a player today, we can keep going through narrative games. Or we could also cut between a scene to Sarah Cataline, Sir Danielle, and then move to stealing time. How would you like to proceed as players?
I think giving Sir Cataline and Sir Danielle some time to do things would be good, but if we can cut back to the stealing time together after that, I think that would be fun.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Totally okay and appropriate. So let's describe the scene that you're playing out. If there's a game you'd like to play, you go ahead and choose one, and then we will continue to follow the narrative.
See, I think this will be a reunion. Because I think this is going. I think this is the first time we've been like together. Unless you think of any other one that you think might fit.
Well, if you're here, you might join at the dance. It's very folk dancing, or you might have a conversation over food. Or we can simply improvise the scene.
I'll give the floor to Catelyn as they are in the situation as well. I'm happy for like a reunion / conversation over food.
I mean, you did just take bread. So
It's true.
Have a seat, Kathleen. Let us dine. You can also do a lot.
Guess I'm doing this. Get me the soda bread.
Let's do a conversation over food between the two of you.
Nice. Okay. I think maybe like we go to like a room adjacent to that. That's like so has like the haughty noises, but we're just like eating. And I'm trying to find this. See here. I think I look at you. And I just kind of say, it has been some time since we have sat down together and dined. So,
Indeed. I did not expect such a drunken mess to occur here, but this is a quiet little space we have.
Indeed. From what Chev telling me always says, I expected the scholars to be more refined and, well, stronger-willed.
I wonder, where did they end up off to? It's interesting. I pegged them more for a casual sipping of the wine rather than throwing.
Question for you two. Apologies for interrupting. Is Chef
that's
Beatrice
okay.
with you, or did she leave? You can decide
Well,
whether
she
she's
left.
there with you. I'm picking you up. She left to go get them.
Does she?
I feel like after having that conversation with Chev Orphelia, Chev Antimony, Beatrice probably didn't want to come back to the scene.
No.
Yeah.
Writing angry tweets about the two of them.
Sending them off in the pitch.
So much subtweeting.
Anthony
Pigeoning.
and Orphelia are the youngest of the four of us.
It's true.
Yeah, by a good margin, it sounded like.
So go ahead and continue your scene. I apologize for interrupting.
No.
No worries.
I think Sir Danielle kind of says, I hear of a lot of discourse in your lands after what we did. There was a lot of upheaval. What are your thoughts on this?
Never in my early life would I've expected such discourse and interesting occurrences to happen in the Marmors. The Church of the Grey and Church of the Black. They seem to be not the best for the lands. I don't quite appreciate them showing up.
Okay. I'm going to go into a move here, and it's going to be, it's the move. I accidentally spilled a secret that blank. I cover it gracefully, but do you pick up on it anyway? And that is, as you say that, I just say to you, as I'm eating some bread, some cheese. Yes, it will be beneficial when those in charge are dealt with publicly.
How public are we talking? People we know being involved directly?
Oh, I just meant when these things are dealt with in an official capacity. Such discourse should not be allowed to upheave your entire lands and split your people. And that was basically me saying that the whole assassination was true. And that my house is a part of it.
Sir Cataline is not the most graceful in conversation, and that's gonna be a secret that doesn't dawn on her until after this conversation is over. It'll be like as I'm about to fall asleep, I'm like, oh,
you wake up in a cold sweat, like, oh my god.
Yeah, 3 a.m. eyes just bolt open.
Right. So for now, Sir Cataline is like, yes, that's true. It can't. Oh yeah, I agree. Well, what? After all that we did last year, how are things going for you in the church? And the relations going on? I know that was rough.
I kind of bow my head, and they kind of rub their temple, and you see the crown still there. As I am true air, cough cough, and I just kind of say to you, it's been a trial set with me by the Lord. I lost a lot during that raid, and I've had to pick up a lot of pieces. There've been a lot of in-house scrutinies that have gone overlooked for far too long, and I begin righting those wrongs.
Good. I mean, someone should. That seems to be a heavy burden you bear. I take a bite of...
Oh, what was that?
No, Uh-oh. I lost. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yep.
You're back now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. There was like a stutter. I was like, crap! No, I responded to Sir Daniel being like, you have a heavy burden to bear with all that responsibility. I appreciate you trying to right the wrongs. She takes a bite of steak and doesn't know what else to say. You lost so much. I can't bear to think about how to handle that emotionally.
And Sir Daniel kind of reaches forward, and if you allow, they will put a hand on your on top of yours, and they will just say, "Can I be frank with you and honest?" They look around.
I will allow it, and
Shiv, go on.
I will appreciate the moment and say, I cannot find enough frankness in this world. I would appreciate nothing more than your honesty.
Shiv, Ophelia murdered my sister. They were one of the ravens. I did not know what caused them to abandon their ways but I knew their moves quite well. And I am torn with what I should do.
Wow. When had you last seen your sister before?
The last I knew that she was off on a holy pilgrimage to strengthen her belief and train as a knight. She was to be my squire.
That's a big fall.
Yes.
Wow. And you've been holding that secret to yourself. Have you interacted with Chef Ophelia since that moment?
No. I am battling with my sense of justice and my sense of honor. Honor dictates that I should seek some kind of recompense for this transgression, a duel or something. But it is just that a heathen is killed in the act of saving my own life. So I am torn between the honor of my family and the justice of the action.
At this point, I think if Sir Daniel would allow it, I would place my other hand on top of yours and be like, a single moment that happens so quickly has so many layers involved, and you've been spending time alone trying to unpack it all. Thank you for sharing the burden, and if there's anything I can do, I would love to help.
Do you notice, Sir Daniel, the lack of leadership we have? The eyes of the skies are strong, but things have been wavering ever since the meeting of taxation. Stuff I had known and warned about, but had gone unheeded.
I would say you are not wrong in this observation. It's generally not my place, but money seems to provide such corruption and complication.
And now we have a band of paid army mercenaries who value nothing but coin for a house built upon it.
There's no glory in that morality.
No honor in mercenary work. What would you say? And I kind of lean in conspiratorially. If there was documents sealed away that suggested a true heir, someone who would stand not only just for their mercantile benefits, but for the people and the faith.
If such documents exist, that is quite a controversial implication, Sir Dano.
I plan to make it public.
I see. Sir Kathleen will bite their lip and look a little torn. I would have to stand where the document lies, where the truth lies, and you would have my support should you publicize such a bold moment.
I thank you in this. Your ferocity and your wisdom is something I've always appreciated. Your frankness is a beacon in the politics we play.
Oh boy, indeed. And I would just like slowly pull back my hands and kind of fiddle around with Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
We can do the twist. We can do the twist. All right. So I'm going to award both of you narrative points. So we're actually going to give a crown point to Sarah Danielle, and we're going to give a passion point to Sarah Cataline. And then we're going to move the camera, if you don't mind, over to a scene where Chev Orphelia and Chev Antimony are stealing time together.
Ooh. All right. So.
Yeah, so where is this secret passage thing?
So really, it is. We duck through the kitchen, and then we go out the back door and down like an alley that leads to a back gate that leads outside of the wall of the Intramuros. Because the Intramuros is an academy within. It's a walled academy, and
Right.
so it's a secret gate out of the walls. Chev and Timmy would actually stop and as they get to the gate, because it's like a small like kind of private like alley there, and look back and catch their breath to see if they were being followed. I think we've escaped them.
I think so. Hang on, let me check. And Orphelia actually kind of full on like monkey clambers up this gate a little bit and does like a I think we're safe.
I think we're safe indeed.
Now what?
Now what, huh?
Huh? I was so excited to get out of there, and I didn't really think of where to go. I mean, this is a nice alley. It's a nice place, but
yeah. Well, there's well, my private estates aren't too far from here, or
well, I don't think I'm welcome there.
Oh no, my personal estates. Not the family ones. Well, family has their own issues right now. I told them that such dalliances with their wealth would be foolhardy, but do they listen to Antimony? No. But my wealth is secure.
Well, that's something.
No worries, Sarah. Yeah.
Here, come on. And she actually reaches down and takes their hand if they'll let her, and actually hoists this poor weak friend onto the gate up beside her. I think we have a shot of them just like sitting on the wall, just legs dangling over, looking at this big giant university kind of situation.
Oh, yes. It's a beautiful view.
Yeah. It's nice. There's nothing in there to really worry about. No houses, no politics, no taxation, no. It's just, well, it's all books, so it's not much use to me, but it's nice to know it's there.
It's more than just books, I think, but I agree. It's thoughts. It's discussions.
You know,
it's the future, really, I think.
Yeah. You know, you looked really happy in there. More than I think I've ever seen. Why don't you stay? Just do that. Your house doesn't listen to you. Anyway, you... Clearly, otherwise they'd be fine right now.
I enjoyed it there. I do. But there is a difference, I think, between talking about the future and talking about what needs to happen and making it happen. And I can't make the change that I want to see if I stay here in these walls, as comfortable and as safe as it might be. And there are so many things out there that I care about, and they will try to put their hand on your leg if you allow.
I don't think... Hang on, let me look at the actual thing for how this game is supposed to work. I think Ophelia is drunk and is a little bit and is still aware that she is drunk, so I think she would probably see the motion of the hand and just kind of grab it and take it and just she grabs hold of their hand and just keeps looking at the silhouette of the building. Well, it's there, and well, and she kind of takes out the crossbow bolt from before. I probably shouldn't stop you from caring about things, clearly, but I want you to be able to be you. And sometimes it seems like you can't be. But in there, you really were.
I appreciate that. I do. And I think, to be able to be that outside of there. I think there's something wrong with the way things are done sometimes.
That I can agree.
With the choices that have come before us. How my family does things, I don't think is always right. But that doesn't mean that any other necessarily takes divine providence either.
Well, I'm certainly not going to try to keep you from changing things to make them right. But, well, if you ever need a reminder, if they ever try to make you like them, just come back here and I'll help remind you of who you really are. And if you're alright with it, I think we can cut the scene there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can either part ways, or Donald finds you, and he's brought Sheb Orphelia's horse. Or Beatrice finds you, and she's brought Ophelia's horse. It's your choice.
I like the idea of Donald just like showing up on the other side of the gate, like
yes,
inexplicably. He was somehow able to find us.
Yeah.
Oh, like full on, like, oh, my ride's here. Just vaults over the other side of the gate.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So yeah, literally it's not that he knows the way, the horse knows the way. The horse knows how to find his way to Sheb Orphelia, so he's just like Sheb Orphelia, I brought your steed. She's no glitter mane, but she gets the job done. And the horse neighs.
Oh, well, looks like That's my cue to get back before Beatrice finds me.
Yes, again.
All right. I'll make sure to write. All right. I think that's the sentence.
Please do.
And I think she just full on like backflips off this gate. And lands on the horse somehow. Kadana does like a woo, definitely still a little bit drunk.
Horse takes off and leaves Donald. Yeah, Donald looks up at Chev and Tim and he's like, "My friend, I brought these for you." And he tosses a bag of fresh baguettes as the sun's starting to rise. They've just been baked fresh. And then he nods and just kind of like Donald's away.
And Donald's
truly
away.
a good man. Truly, you are a righteous man, Donald. I will. And
Donald the righteous.
Anthony sits on the wall and doesn't leave for a while, and enjoys the baguette and is a little bit morose.
Mm. And with that, a few weeks go by. The Antilier, her star in the skies, Rosary, known to a few, has not returned. And under a cloak of deceit, the army of dragons has staged a coup in the court of the city of Capital and has seized the throne, and on it has placed one Alatea, the Dragon Queen of House Dragon, and has laid claim to the throne.
Wait, who put
the knight?
Alatea?
Now, there are many ideas who did. We know she belongs to Dragon House. We know that the army was used to do it. And you do know, several weeks prior, there were some negotiations going on in the capital, at the seat of the throne, with the Lunar Republic. If you were to take a guess, you might think the Lunar Republic had something to do with this, although feeling that and proving that are two different things. All knights have been outlawed in Capital. However, there is one knight that has risen to the occasion to unify them and re-seize their home, which is Capital. Now, it is one of you, or it is the perfect knight, Sarah Helena the Gallant. Who is it?
Is she really the perfect? Oh, okay.
In every way possible.
I'm sitting here with 9 crown points, but also there's no way that people would rally behind Chev or Ophelia at this point, I think.
Be surprised. It may be, and it's one of those old sayings where, it may be that the brashness of Chev or Ophelia is what they need, because the knights were ejected by this army of dragons. Most had been off questing, most had been off to the side. But someone needs to rally them. It's either going to be Sarah Helena or one of the knights here, Sarah Danielle, Sarah Cataline, Chev Antimony, Chev Ophelia. But you get to decide.
I could see it being Ophelia in terms of the whole, like, this. She is of House Lion, and also has a pretty strong opinions about right and wrong, and this seems very not right. But if people feel differently, I also am curious to see what everyone else's opinion is here.
So, okay.
I would also feel that Danya would try and rally those who had already rallied behind them with the rose crown, and made it official kind of thing.
Is it time?
Oh, okay, that changes things.
But that's it depends, right? If people rally behind them or you.
It's your choice entirely.
Soon? Do you need more years, Sir Daniel?
I think if I had to choose between the two, Antimony would rally behind Ophelia. But Antimony's thoughts here are that their families, whatever the case has caused it to happen, they have overstepped, and determined to see it undone.
So, here are the stakes. I would like you. So, have we decided between Orphelia and Ser Danielle?
I'm curious to see how the whole rose crown thing is going to play out. So I'm willing to concede and just follow that narrative arc because I'm curious about it.
All right. So, you must make a decision, Ser Danielle. One of your beloved NPC squires was slain to trigger this event. Was it Donald or Beatrice?
Damn.
I think for this...
And here's how you can prevent it being one of them. I want you to purge one of your narrative pools entirely, handing out all the points to the other players. Just however you see fit. That will save their life. It'll be your sacrifice if you do it. And it will shift your perception to everyone dramatically.
Shit.
Well, like, I put myself in the way or something?
Well, we put it
Did you
this
say
way. You'll purge all of your narrative points, and they'll go to something else, and that will prevent this character death from occurring. But as you can see, it also shifts the narrative power and how other people perceive you by purging an entire pool. That's sort of the bargain situation. You can save the lives of one of those NPCs, or one of them dies. Please don't kill Donald. And don't kill Beatrice.
Donald has plot armor. We established that in session 1.
What is plot armor?
I don't think anybody's called over right now.
You really want to kill Donald? Is that really a thing you want to do?
I mean, I'm tempted.
Story.
The drama. So
I know.
really
That's what this is all.
So I really like the idea that they're like the innocent Donald that transcends all house and royalty is the spark that like likes the flame, right? The innocent one is caught up in it. But I also think as well that Ser Danielle also cares for Donald. And I think that I'm going to purge my glory because I think I was going to take a tactical decision, but knowing that Donald was in trouble, I decided honor for a friend over my own personal gain.
Donald is knighted to Ser Donald and recognize your sacrifice. So after the game, will allow you to split your points up.
I have 3, so each person gets 1.
Okay.
I got that.
There's also 2 other rewards from the last scene that we...
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to add a +1 passion to Orphelia, +1 passion to Antimony, and some tags. So, some tags. Ser Danielle receives the tag, the True Crown. There's many who view the Knight of House Eagle as that one, the heir apparent. Should something happen to the throne, they want Ser Danielle to sit on it. Chev Antimony gets the tag Iron Stomach. It is now said that Chev Antimony can really hold their liquor and also wax very profoundly about it, about many things. Chev Orphelia receives the tag Talk of the Town. There
That's
are
fair.
a great many people who speak the name Orphelia on their lips, but the story is always different every time. And Sarah Cataline has earned the tag The Wisest. There will become a point where Sarah Cataline is viewed as the wisest of knights. So those are some tags. Donald has been knighted and has become Ser Donald, a level 2 character now. and they also receive a tag. They are honor bound to Ser Daniel. So they are still House Lion, allied with Chev Orphelia. But Ser Daniel might be able to trigger Donald to do something against his better judgment or in alignment with something else. That's the way it works. So let's set our story now. Let's sort of set the framing. So it is a dark day in every way. It's noon, but it looks as though it could be night. Every cloud has blocked out the light of the sun, and there is a heavy downpour, and gloom is encroaching the city of Capital. A small battalion of knights and squires has formed themselves around you. Ser Daniel is essentially the wearer of the rose crown, and the army, the invincible army of dragons, is quite notorious for being very well trained, very disciplined, very tactical. However, one of you is able to get reconnaissance. Who gets it on the army, and who? So, which of you want to sort of address this challenge of actually ascertaining the truth behind the army?
I think Antimony has shown an adeptness at reconnaissance, whether it is through disguise or through just being a dragon as well. They can move through and gather information from this army of dragons.
Okay. So this is a check. This is a challenge. The challenge is 4. You can spend any cerebration. You can add any other qualities that are applicable, or exhaust any tags you'd like in order to meet this challenge.
I think I would exhaust or use some of my cerebration. Let's use 2 cerebration, and if I can, I'll use 1 cerebration, and I still have a few, not very many, but a few squires left.
Mm-hmm. You have Dionysus and Epictetus.
Epictetus. I would have Epictetus aid me in this, because they are a bit smaller and mousier and good at this, so they can give me a bonus, if that's okay.
Sure.
Alright, so I'm gonna roll, and that is 4 exactly.
All right, so you learn through your reconnaissance the invincible army of dragons is nothing of the sort. Their armor looks as though it has been taken from other armies, fallen armies, possibly even from a different age. And these are not members of House Dragon. These are mercenaries. They look as though they've been brought in from afar. They're not from the Lunar Republic. They're not from the Solar Empire. They are from a land to the west. And your guess, these are West folk, called such because that is where they come from. So these are members of the West folk who have been imported as an illegal army. And they are not as disciplined as knights, but they simply took... they used reputation and intimidation to sort of spook and seize control during a moment of weakness. So this you know.
So I will.
So you can
relay such to the others. They're ill organized. They are rabble, not even from the royal lands. These are west folk. They wear not the colors of a house, and they wear not the armor of a house, neither do they have the discipline of a house.
And who's to blame for such a ragtag army?
I know not. This is...
Well, this
This is a
can't
mystery.
stand.
No, it can't. And nor can it stand to threaten the land royal, nor to mar the name of Dragon.
Now, here's something you know as well. Though they are less, they're not as effective as Knights of the Crown. They are far more numerous, outnumbering you almost 10 to 1. You would need to get reinforcements from somewhere. Who of the group would like to seek out reinforcements, and who would you like to get them from? And you can draw upon any of the NPCs that have been mentioned so far, from any of the episodes, and pull them from the fiction. Or we can go about it a different way. Or you can always ask me for ideas. I have them as well.
I don't have real well.
In terms of, gathering army forces, I mean, I could see Sir Kathleen doing it, but also maybe someone like Sir Daniel being more invested in trying to get supporting forces. I mean, Shepard really could
And then choose someone in any region who you would like to seek for help, and we'll either introduce an NPC or pull one off the shelf.
Like,
Choose where you
Ophelia
go.
is good at rallying people, but I don't know that she has the connections that Sir Kathleen or Sir Daniel would actually have to make the initial request or alliance in the first place.
Yeah.
You are a true friend to someone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a
You
true
are
friend to
also-
Beatrice, though, who's literally with us.
Quick, you're my army.
One woman army, or
And Beatrice says, she will stand with you and fight, dead to the last knight, if she has to. However, she says there are rumors that Sir Helena has raised an army and is considering liberating the throne if needs be, and perhaps we consort with her. However, she is a wolf.
I would look towards Kathleen, because I think in Daniel's eyes, they would know more about the amassing of mass armies and stuff.
Sure. So if I were to initiate gathering an army, I would look towards... Would I be picking another main house, or...
You could pick a house, a region, and then in order to do that, you're going to dialogue with an NPC. So you can choose any location in the Land Royal. And Chev Beatrice did point out that perhaps the wolf talks to the other wolf and see if Sir Helena's army joins them. Frenemies.
Yeah. I like that. I think that is certainly in my line as Sir Kathleen. And I look at Chev Beatrice and been like, it is time, isn't it?
So, this Sarah Helena is currently in the Eldershire, where the old kingdom had fallen, and you find her there, and you can be accompanied by any of the PCs, or you can be accompanied by a squire, and we can invent a squire for you if needed. In fact, let's. There are a couple of wolves there who join you. In fact, there are two wolves squires, Ambrose and Margareta. So I will add them to the list. These are your new squires.
Yay!
So you have them.
Okay.
And this is a rocky cliff. This is, tough, difficult country. Ruins, abandoned towns that look like they've been burned to the ground centuries prior. It is there that you will find Sarah Helena, and you are joined by your squires. She would be in the war camp.
Okay. I would probably have my two squires and give them a quick pep talk and explain to them we are here to make nice, we're here to be respectful, and hopefully join forces and unify the wolves in an attempt to defend our spaces. Let's not be too haughty. Let's not save face for anything. Let's be frank, but let's be respectful. And we'll walk up casually.
Yeah, you enter
like
the
cool
camp.
Crowd with shades on.
Yeah, it's kind of like this. You're joined by your two squires, and like a hush, almost a reverence falls under the wolves and the knights that have gathered. There are knights from many houses represented. There are also some who look very young, as if they were sworn to knighthood and took oaths before they were ready, because this is dire and desperate times. And there's, voices kind of whisper through the crowd, Captain Cataline. And you are brought to a council tent. And within this tent is a knight. She does not stand as tall as you do. She is quite lean, but on her brow sits wisdom. And this is Sarah Helena, who you know and you have served with. She was there when the Solar Empire invaded. She was there and fought along with you. And she stands as the perfect knight. And do you greet her as a friend? Do you greet her as captain of the knights? What's your mood as you approach her?
I would say my mood is perhaps muted a little bit. Not so far as to be reverent, but a little more formal rather than friendly.
I want you to make a check, and this check is going to determine how Sarah Helena receives you.
Okay. How would I do said check?
So you can spend points from dashing or valor or cerebration describing how you use those things. You have a lot of glory points, so you are viewed likely. Also, the fact that you have the title as captain, captain of the knights and carry the ancestral blade, that might mean something. You also have the leader of the pack tags, but
yeah.
So you can spend tags or add points and play the scene out before you.
I think I will spend leader of the pack, and then I would like to spend a point of valor.
All right, leader of the pack will add 3. Yeah.
Yep.
And the 1 point of valor.
Powerful statement. Yep.
You don't need a roll. You're greeted. She's like, my captain, my leader, my liege. And she almost takes a knee as she sees you, and she greets you as a friend. Kissing either cheek if you let her. But she's viewing you as in control and someone that she looks up to. We thought you might have been slain in the invasion. It is a blessing to see you today.
Absolutely. You know me to be a survivor. You know me to be of great strengths. And I come here with serious intrigue and I would like to thank you for the amounts of efforts you've done to build such a force. And it seems to be that you have had more wisdom and foresight to take people in early. I hate to see that the time is now and we require assistance.
They are not ready, but if you need them, we will ride out. Or do you recommend that we wait and spend a season longer training them? So you can take them out now, or you can spend more of a season. If you spend more of a season, there will be consequences. Likewise, if you rush them out, there will be consequences. It's purely up to you.
Right. I would say history dictates that lost forces and lost comrades weigh heavy on me, so I would look to Sarah Helena and be like, will a season be enough to significantly increase their odds in survival?
Her eyes meet yours, and she says, with your leadership, that is all that it needs.
I see. If the hearts are true and the minds are strong, I'm sure I can figure a way to spend a season to help these forces in their strength.
A season go by, and months pass. The dragons tighten their grip. Treaties are signed between the Lunar Republic and the Land Royal. It is even said that a portion of the Goldenwood has been granted to the Lunar Republic, but they have not been able to enter Norfell, for House Eagle stands strong there and has repelled an invading force. With that, the season goes by, and a well-trained, serious army, equal in number to the dragons, meets our heroes, our knights, at a location of their choosing. So, Sarah Danielle, where does this army meet you?
I think the army. So we're in the capital, and I think we lure them out, and we fight them in the woods, where the wolf is strong and trained.
Okay. So, your army is known as the Army of the Blood Wolf Knights. They are fierce, they are young, they are raw. The battle is going to be fierce. It's going to be very difficult. So, I want to know how involved your knights are in this conflict. Are you fighting sword to sword with people? Are you leading? Inform me. Advise me.
I think I'm absolutely fighting sword to sword with people.
Same.
I think if there had been a moment, I would have liked to have taken time to reconvene with Shev and Timony to kind of inquire if there was any way to formally expose the legitimacy of the army before engaging in combat.
Not on the field of battle, but I've thought over this last season about tactics and the deployment of the numbers. Anthony will pull out a small leather folio with pages of parchment and maps, hand-drawn maps, and troop layouts, and say, this is what I can give. This is the plans I have for that I think will suit you well. But I cannot fight on this field. I will. My heart calls that I must do something in the city.
Of course. No one would expect you to be on the field in this moment. That would not
and you
well
look
for
at
anyone.
Antimony, and Antimony, this is probably the first time you've ever seen a sword on Antimony's hip.
Ooh.
Nice. It's been 3 years.
Murder pants!
They now have a blade.
Welcome to the Murder Pants crew.
Chef Orphelia, you are met one night before the battle by Chef Beatrice. And she explains to you, well, you must fight sword to sword. We must also expose the false queen. We must take back the throne. I believe your blade is the blade that must accomplish that. For the Lions.
Orphelia looks up, gives her a grin, and says, "But of course."
She asks, and she lets you know, she says, I'm not going to be able to join you. You're going to have to go, not alone, but with one other. And looks to Sir Donald. Now the question is Sir Donald permitted by Sir Danielle to go with Chef Orphelia, or is he forced to fight on the front lines with you? That is Sir Danielle's choice.
Let's see. Do I know the circumstances of why they want to leave?
You know this. You know that Sir Donald wants to go, needs to be there. He says, there will come a time when the assassin's darts seek Chef Orphelia, and like our friend Antimony, I must be there to catch the darts.
Buddy.
Okay. I will, let's see here. So, I will allow this if they do one thing.
Anything for you.
I know of the palace, and I also know of a side entrance. They must open that side entrance and tell no one of it. And that is where I will go.
They will do this thing. The fighting is fierce. Sir Cataline and the Blood Wolf Knights are some of the most fiercest warriors that the nation has ever seen. Many of these wolves fought the prior year during the Holy Wars against the Church of the Sun. Sir Danielle is joined in battlefield by Sir Cataline. I need Sir Danielle to make a check for me. This is essentially how well your army does. The test difficulty is 4. The Dragon army is not so great. You're going to get a bonus +1 because of Sir Cataline's excellent army that has been raised sort of out of the bat.
Okay. And do any of my attractive qualities benefit me in this?
What are they? Let me double check.
Beautiful, graceful, and swordmaster.
Swordmaster for sure.
Okay, and that adds a +1, so that's 2. And I think I'm gonna spend 2 valor.
Okay, and that'll do it. No roll needed. The Blood Wolf Knights defeat the Invincible Army of Dragons, the army that was called Invincible. You can tell they are not members of House Dragon. They are Westfolk. You recognize them as Westfolk, and you're not too sure where they came from or how they got here. You have suspicions, and you're triumphant. Meanwhile, in the castle within Capital, Chef Orphelia, you have describe sort of your approach to claiming the throne. Do you go boldly, brashly? Do you ride your horse through the main streets? Do you sneak around? Just describe it to me.
I absolutely ride in head held high, and probably sword out also. I think I'm challenging this person to a duel if I can.
Oh, yes. In fact, Alatea, the Queen of Dragons, accepts the duel and explains that she will strike you dead with a single blow. And she will make an example of this proud knight of House Lion and make an example of her dumb squire too. And he's like, I've been knighted. And like, yeah, so a crowd gathers in the streets. Sheva Antimony is there observing. Sarah Cataline is actually still on the fields of battle. They are close to, sort of in the fiction, they're very close to winning. In fact, they are essentially lining up the prisoners and deciding what they're going to do with them. Sarah Danielle is somewhere mysterious. Donald has accomplished the deed. So Shev Orphelia, let's describe this combat between you and the Dragon Queen.
When you say describe, do you mean narrate or do you mean like start tossing things forward for
narrate
the roll?
A little bit of both. Now, how you narrate may change it.
Okay. So I think at first we have, this is a lot of, on Orphelia's front, this is almost, it starts off almost showy. There's a lot of dancing and partially it looks flashier than it actually is. Orphelia's fighting style is a lot of fancy footwork and fleet-footedness, and she's learning her opponent's fighting style while also trying to look like she's having fun and look like she's almost toying with them. She kind of get them off their guard. I don't know if that works on this particular woman, however.
So, the Dragon Queen's sword is almost as large as she is, and she is fighting fiercely. You can tell from the time she was able to grasp things with her hand, a sword was stuck in it. She's a creature of pure hate, and despite all the pomp and circumstance and sort of idiocy that has surrounded this coup, she's a brilliant combatant, and she may be difficult to slay. Now, we've established that positioning. Let's talk about the actual combat now. What do you do, and how do you do it?
I have a quick question. Is she an actual dragon?
Your guess is that she is of House Dragon. And you're not familiar with her personally. She's not anyone you have ever seen. But you sort of tell, it's one of those things, you're like, yeah, only a dragon would have that haircut at that age. And only a dragon would wear their earring that way.
There's a certain style of shortness on the sides and longness on the top that comes with being a dragon.
Mm-hmm. There's yeah, and she's essentially hell on wheels out there. She's, fighting as fierce as possible. Now, this is going to be a check, and this is a task difficulty of 10 for Orphelia.
Okay. Well, I think Crown definitely applies. So I'm gonna... Wait, can I spend Crown on this, or does this have to be a Valor Dashing and Cerebration thing? I do not remember.
Valor Dashing or Cerebration, but I will say this.
Okay.
There are people there because of your connection to the Crown. There are knights in waiting that are... If the fighting gets out of hand, they will jump in. And there's even people that are saluting this false queen who may even take your side because they're like, it's Chef Orphelia. She's a great dancer.
Hell yeah, she is. Okay. In that case, I think... Okay, so I'm definitely spending a point of Valor, and I definitely think my bold tag applies in this situation.
100%.
So that's 2.
You can spend up to 3 points of valor.
Okay. Then I think I will spend 2 points of valor, and then apply my bold quality. I'm looking at my tags. I don't know that any of them really apply in this particular situation, because while I am talk of the town, this is very much a personal fight for Ophelia. I'm not trying to necessarily rile up the crowd to get them involved. I want to win this fight myself. Okay. So in that case, I think at a certain point during this fight, Ophelia starts to switch her fighting style to be a little more serious and a little more... She realizes she's not going to be able to win this fight on strength alone. And so she starts to get a little bit sneakier and a little bit riskier with her swordplay. So I'm going to use that to apply my resourceful tag as well, or attractive quality as well, if you'll allow that. Which brings that up to a +4. So I think I'm ready to roll.
You can also roll with advantage 2 dice if you would like.
Okay, I will do that.
Because you're crit.
Well, that was a 6 both times. So.
No.
Yep. I mean.
Was that a
total? With I rolled 2 2s.
Wow. All right.
No.
I mean, if it is appropriate for Ophelia to die, I'm actually okay with her dying. But
so here's how this
drama
works. Your valor pool. What was it at? You spent a couple points. 2 points.
I spent 2 points, so it is now at 5.
Right. So you lose all of your valor points and 2 points of dashing. So now your valor's at 0. Your dashing's at 5. As you are severely struck at this point, and you fall to the ground bloody. You're not dead. Are any of the other knights that are there going to intervene, or is Donald going to be activated? Okay.
Activate Donald.
Activate him.
Intimity rushes out, flinging their coat, their robe, or not the robe, their cloak from them, and they have their tight, scholarly dragon jacket and pants. They're not wearing armor. They're very lightly armed, or that lightly armored, and they pull out their thin sword and stand above Ophelia.
The Queen of the Dragons swings at you. No, describe your action, and then she's going to attempt to slay you, though.
Yeah. Antimony says, "You are no dragon. You are no queen. And I will show you what it means to be a true knight, and will rush headlong into the fight."
All right. So she's going to get the first attack on you. So first you must defend, and it's a difficulty of 10.
Okay. Antimony is disciplined. They may be moving recklessly, quickly, but they are disciplined and they are graceful. I will spend 3 points of speed for this, and do that. So that is a 5 bonus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have any tags that would apply in this case at the moment.
No.
That is a 6 on the die, so that is an 11.
All right, you defend. If you'd like, you can attempt a killing blow.
Yeah, Antimony would... the fight is... Her thrusts and slashes are heavy and powerful, and Antimony seems to dance a bit, like move gracefully around her bros, but they're much closer than anyone would care. In fact, they actually tear at their clothes a bit and mar the symbol of the dragon upon their jacket, and then they will hesitate for a moment as they move around, and then just attempt to come in behind and strike a blow.
All right. You'll need a 10 or more to kill her. A 7 or less means you defeat her. And the party can decide what to do with her. But a 10 or more will kill her.
I will spend...
Or no, a 7 won't defeat her. A 7 will simply prevent you from dying in the situation.
Oh, jeez.
Still disciplined and graceful. And I will spend 3 points again from dashing. And let me look at my tags super quick. Antimony has never directly killed somebody. There's no desire for it, but this is sometimes you must do things you do not want and that hurt you, and so I if I can, I want to exhaust Iron's stomach as
you can do that. It'll give you 2 points.
Okay, so that is 7 then. And that is a 9 on the die, so that's a 16.
Woo! The Dragon Queen is slain by Chev Antimony as he takes her life for the very first time. The rain stops as his blade strikes. Ophelia is losing consciousness. However, the last thing she sees is the Dragon Queen fall, and Donald lifts her up to carry her to physicians. Sir Danielle, what did you do during all of this?
Sir Danielle, I think was watching from a window after fighting with the army. And in the main area in the court, if you allow, I think they were having words with the foreign dignitary that was there, trapped by the army, the one that wanted the Golden Woods.
Well, they've got most of it. What words are they having with them?
Well, I'm reason that my army was putting up a fight, so I was going to negotiate a logging treaty.
Very well. The deal is done, and you have made a powerful friend in the Lunar Empire. I'm merely an ambassador, they say. I don't know about all this dragon nonsense. Wink, wink. I'm just a humble diplomat. Your Majesty, they say, looking at your crown. And with that, the dragon usurper, the false queen Alatea, died in the 3rd year of strife. And now we can go into character summary mode. Let's go Sir Danielle, Sir Cataline, Chev Ophelia, then Chev Antimony.
And what am I doing, sir?
So this is our character summary now that the adventure of the year has ended. What comes of Sir Danielle follow? How have they changed over the course of the year? And sort of what are they doing in the meanwhile until we meet again?
I think as all that happened, Danielle has taken they've become even colder. the garden that was growing within them has like wilted almost completely, and now there is a snow and ice, and in that snow and ice we see wolf footprints, and I think they are becoming more tactile, more ferocious, and they're setting their sights on a throne and will hunt down those who stand in front of them.
And you're going to get the tag, essentially, of peacemaker. You're viewed as a peacemaker between. There's a couple different ways that can be seen as. It either comes through the sword, or it comes through the use of your voice. One way or another, Sir Daniel will find peace. And has a reputation among the foreign powers as one to deal with. And if you were to advance a clock, now I'm going to drop the war clock all the way down to 0. What clock moves in which direction?
I think all of this has become too much, and I'd like to move the people clock, as too much peasantry and common life has been uprooted in death. There's armies and invasion up and coming through.
All right. And Sir Cataline.
Whoo, boy. Can I just say, as a player, I wasn't ready for all that drama. My baby. Okay. That's not out of the way. Sir Cataline felt that this was quite an important year for herself, and really appreciated the moment of vulnerability that Sir Daniel offered and the information provided. Granted that night realization that House Eagle was responsible perhaps for a assassination of the Church Grey and whatnot, that was something that they're still stewing on. The falsehoods of House Dragon and their army, and as much as Sir Cataline herself enjoys Chev and Timony, she does not appreciate House Dragon anymore in this moment.
What of her relationship with Sir Helena, the Perfect Knight?
As Sir Helena rose quickly and seemed to be quite popular, Sir Catalina is older, so it's not like I'm worried about ego in this moment. So it was interesting. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't such a power disruption. So it wasn't jealousy, but it was more of a tale of caution in dealing with Sir Helena, and I really appreciated their help and their respect in this year.
You're given the tag mentor. Many younger knights view you as a mentor, someone to aspire to be like. So although Sir Helena might be known as the Perfect Knight, Sir Helena also trains no knights, and directs people to Sir Cataline. And Chev Orphelia, who suffered great wounds at the hands of the Dragon Queen.
Mm-hmm. Chev Orphelia.
Roll the clock back for the Inquisition really quick, because
yeah.
Oh, right.
Happened.
Yeah, we'll do that.
That's a thing.
Sorry.
Chev Orphelia, after that incident, and what she saw during it, has not taken up the sword since. I think she, in fact, has spent more time trying to fill the gaps in her knowledge now that she understands how vast they are, and how not powerless she is, but her own limitations and the harm that she caused, not just to herself, but to people she cared about by not understanding them. I think she actually has been spending a lot of time at the Intramuros, like, in general, since then. Not necessarily with Sheva and Timony, but just on her own, during times when she would normally be gallivanting around Capital or practicing swordplay, that sort of thing. So her reputation as talk of the town is starting to change a little bit. And in terms of clocks, I think... Gosh, I legitimately don't know what to do for clocks here. There's so much going on.
Back to war! Back to
War forward, we're kicking that Lunar Republic's butt. No.
What actually happened? I don't know. I think I want to move the clock back on the people by one. I actually think what happened here in the capital has been a bit of a sobering event in general. There was a lot of harm that was caused to everybody, all houses, and the people in the capital itself. And so I think I'm moving the clock back not because there's less unrest, but because the unrest is more tense and worried now, rather than actually more of a violent call for action.
I'm giving you the tag Wounded in the House of Friends, or Wounded in the Company of Friends. Think about how to activate that at some point. And Chef Antimony.
Chef Antimony has changed a lot, and they have great I think this is a breaking point for them in a way. I think, to narrate it a little bit, after this, Ophelia's taken to doctor to rest, and one day she comes out after, like, a couple days later, and she finds Antimony's blade shoved in the ground. On it hangs the jacket and colors of House Dragon, torn apart, and there is a necklace with the other half of the broken crossbow bolt, and they are not seen in the Intramuros for a long time.
And so ends EP3 of Unrestful Hearts and the Gardens of Glory. Our knights are maturing.
Or anything?
No, not at all. I'm going to give you the tag. One, you get to adjust the clock. So go ahead and adjust the clock. Then I'll give you your tag. Sorry, apologies.
I'm going to also move back Revolution people. Because I agree with Ophelia that things are back to a simmer a little bit. They're less likely to immediately blow up, but they're not gone. There's talk of what this means. These wars between these noble houses and the upheaval that they cause, and what that means for the everyday man.
My question for Chef Antimony: when you do wander, though, do any of your squires or do any NPCs travel with you, or do you travel alone?
No.
And then
Antimony travels in a cloak of black.
And okay.
Harry's not the name of dragon.
At any point, do you encounter Alicinda, the Raven's Blade? You don't have to say how that encounter went. you can just keep that in your pocket.
I think they might at some point.
Well, we'll keep that as a question mark for you to decide. You receive the tag Wanderer, and that'll end with that year 3. Next week we'll move on to year 4. We'll have a new player joining us, and we may have a full house. We'll see. So let's go around to our cast and crew. Did we enjoy ourselves today? We'll start with Pro. Pro, how you doing? How was the game?
Hey, good. Lots of drama, lots of personal moments, lots of personal stuff coming through. Really enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing where this drama train of smooches go. And I'm just waiting for that one smooch. At some point, it's going to be some. This has been death and pain right now.
It's gonna be Donald in a baguette. Just they're so delicious.
I mean, yeah, where's Donald's OTP? That's the real question here.
Donald's going to be the hero of the story. But I am Pro Starter. You can get me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. I was tempted. I was so tempted.
I would have set up such a vendetta against you. Don't you dare kill my son.
Oh god. But yeah, you can get me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, all under the same name. I do 14 to 15 games a week throughout the week. You can also catch me on this channel as well. And so we're going to go back to streaming normal on Monday. Thank you for having me. See you all then.
It's always great to play with you. And Burst of Hope, Jess Meyer, how you doing?
Oh, that was interesting. While I do miss our lady, our queen, our Antillia of the House of Stell, Lady of the Stars, that was a big drama year. I feel so hard probably for Shiv and Timony right now. Like, oh my god, talk about drama. And we keep saying, like, this is a game of smooches, and
yeah,
I'm not upset that smooches haven't happened, but it's just like the attention and the killing and the feelings. Oh,
you gotta earn them. You gotta earn those things. They happen. They're slow burns.
The slow burn is real good in this game, let me tell ya. Yes, so I am Burst of Hope on Twitter, the 0 for the of, but I think at this point my activity kind of just has exploded compared to the bot of Burst of Hope, so I'm good, I'm not salty. I'm trying this season to play in as many games on as many channels with as many people as possible, so Pro's playing a ridiculous amount of games. I'm there sometimes, I'm here sometimes, I'm GMing a little bit, so just follow me on Twitter and you can find my antics everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody give Jess a follow. Jess is one of the super fun people to play with, watch, entertaining. Always kind at conventions as well. Oizel.
Yes.
Hello.
I am a Poizel on Twitch, or on Twitter and Instagram, and you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Poizel. I play games here. I play games on other channels. I play games all over the place. You can find me tomorrow at noon Pacific time in the final game of my run that I'm playing in of Hillfolk from Pelgrane Press and Robin D. Laws. It is amazing. I'm playing with some of my other Uncommon Trust members, and it is a delight. I love it. If you want to see some other drama and switches, come check it out.
Definitely check out that game. It's an awesome system with awesome players playing. And M.E. Truffery.
Hi, M at Truffery on Twitter and Truffery most other places. You can usually find me mostly just yelling on Twitter a lot, but occasionally on various streams on the internet, particularly on Little Cup of Joe's channel for more lighthearted anime antics and occasional drama and smooches. But yeah, that's about me.
And my name is Grant Ellis. I'm an independent content creator for tabletop role-playing games. You can find me on Twitter at WisePuppetGrant. I'm on a lot of different shows, a lot of different channels. This is a game that I designed specifically for this stream here on Encounter Roleplay. I hope you are enjoying it. Definitely make sure that you stick around, though, because our good friend of mine, Baganova, who I played a few charity games with, excellent game master in their own right, is going to be on here. And we hope to catch you next week for more nights and more shenanigans. So with that, goodbye.